Child's Play is directed by Tom Holland and stars Brad Dourif as Chucky. The film tells a story about a killer doll that has been brought to a home and is now living with a kid named Andy. And as the days go on and Chucky starts killing people, the family starts to suspect that something may be wrong with Chucky, and they must find out before it's too late and Chucky possesses the body of Andy. I remember watching this film at a very young age. I think I was around middle school when I first watched this movie. It was my first introduction to the entire Chucky films. At that point, at least when I started watching them, I heard about Chucky before. Heard that he was a killer doll. Saw a lot of the scary DVD boxes with that messed up looking Chucky that is torn to shreds in the Seed of Chucky and Bride of Chucky movies. I always figured that was how Chucky always and will always look. And when I saw that Chucky just looked like a normal doll in the first movie, it kind of disappointed me. But as I watched the film, I did remember it having an effect on me. It really did unsettle me. And to this day, I will still say that it is still a pretty scary movie in terms of how a killer doll can infect and ruin the life of a child who's just wanting to live his childhood the best he can. Andy doesn't have many friends to go to, doesn't have many people around him, and the only one who does seem to care for him is his mother. And these two characters have a strong bond with one another that I do believe is unbreakable. The one thing that this film does right was hire two talented actors and have them have really good chemistry with one another. These two characters really do feel like a child and a mother who love each other deeply, who cares for one another. And it's unfortunate to see these characters go through a pretty horrific situation, especially Andy in the film, who is put through the ringer a lot. Like, he feels like something out of a Don Bluth film. An innocent child put into a dark situation and is having to go through so much turmoil in order to get the happy ending he deserves. Except, unlike in a Don Bluth film, he doesn't really get a happy ending. As the movie ends in a way that tells the audience that while Chucky may have been vanquished, the scars Chucky left behind on Andy will never be healed. He will always have a negative effect on his life moving forward, and that is the real tragedy of the entire film. How childhood innocence can be ruined, even if your intentions are for the best for the other person. Something out of your control is bound to destroy everything for their own personal means. And in that way, Chucky works really well as a villain here and has a lot of moments to shine as a cold-blooded killer that you just want to see get stopped. It also helps with the fact that Brad Dourif's performance as the character here is really good. He is very outlandish, he is very expressive in his vocal performance as his character. The animatronics complement the performance very well, and they never looked weird. Chucky always looked like he fits naturally within this world. He always felt like an actual doll coming to life here. The animatronics used to portray this character really are something to behold, and I missed when practicality was a standard for filmmaking. Now this doll would have been CGI here. And if there's another thing that this movie does well to help emphasize the evil of Chucky here, is the atmosphere. Whenever we cut to a scene with Andy or his mother, there's always a sense of innocence within the entire family. How these are just people that just want to live their best lives as possible. They don't curse like many other characters in horror films or teenagers in horror films. They want to keep these characters as innocent as possible. They want you to feel like this is a family that you can see every day and just get along with easily, like these are the kindest people you could ever meet. But they show just enough flaws within within these characters that you want to see them pick themselves back up again. Like how Andy is still trying to hold on to Chucky even though he knows that he is doing all these bad things. But due to him not having as many friends, he's kind of wanting to keep holding on to him until he has to get to the point where he knows he has to let go of him. But unfortunately that is too late. Chucky is mowing down people left and right in order to get what he wants from Andy. And it's sad to see this kid go through the situation, especially the actor as Vincent. He does a really good job portraying this little kid, and he never felt out of place within the film. The way this kid acts in this movie, especially in the moments where he has to feel scared, or is sad, or is just breaking down to tears, it's just heartbreaking to see because the performance here is really that damn good. It is one of my favorite child performances I've seen in a horror film. As for the mother, I don't know the actress's name, I forgot, but she is also really good here and is stern and authoritative as a mother and is doing what she can to try and save her son. You really do buy into the fact that she really cares for him. And while the whole thing does seem sketchy to her at first, it wasn't until much later she learns the truth behind everything. Is just like her son trying to convince everyone that this doll is killing people. Now understanding what her son is truly going through, she has more of a strive to try and save her son and help him get out of the situation alive. As for the cop character, he does a good job here. He is the cop character that is trying to be the level-headed one throughout this entire situation and is trying to capture another criminal, which we learn has ties to what is going on with the family. And that is that this killer that he's going after is actually Chucky in human form. Unfortunately, when he was going after him in the beginning of the film, Chucky transferred his soul to the doll in order to escape the cops. And the body of Chucky is now presumed dead. Now this is where my biggest flaw comes into play with this movie. I felt like this would have been much scarier if we didn't know this stuff off the bat. If we just start with Andy and his life with his mother, and we see him retrieve this doll and we are wondering what is going on, there would have been more of a mystery behind the entire story, and we would have been questioning what is going on. Why this Chucky doll coming to life? And saving the reveal until much later in the film, and we see the actual flashback of what really happened, would help with the pacing a little bit, because the opening does kind of drag on a bit. There's a few unnecessary stuff here that could have been trimmed down in terms of pacing and keeping the film more in focus. It also would have been better in a structural sense that the film would have had more of a mystery and build up to the reveal of Chucky. It would have been more horrifying once Chucky starts freaking out on Andy's mom, and we would have been really scared at this point that yes, this doll is in fact alive and is trying to kill these people and take over Andy's body. Which also was explained pretty quickly, and there isn't much done with this reveal. I would have preferred if they tried to build that reveal up a little bit more instead of having it come out of nowhere, so that the plot can move forward with more of a motivation for Chucky. Other than those problems that I do have with the film that do hold it back from being a truly great horror film, I still think this is a really fun horror film in general, with really likable characters, fun scares, a great atmosphere, and just an all-around sense of childhood innocence being ruined by something that is supposed to be innocent, but happens to be not, and how these characters are performed by these talented actors and everything like that. It's just a really fun movie to watch. Not my favorite horror film of all time, but one that is really enjoyable, and I do find myself watching every year just because of the atmosphere and the characters and just the entire atmosphere It's not a movie that I go back to a whole lot like with movies like Halloween, but it is still a horror movie that I do find really enjoyable and that I do recommend watching this time of year. It's a really fun movie to watch around Halloween, and I'm going to give Child's Play a A-. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys next time.